Well, hello. Welcome to Theological Studies. My name is Cecilia Gonzalez Andrea, but most of the students just call me Dr. Cecilia. It's a very long name. And I am a Christian Catholic theologian. And what does that mean? Well, it means that I work to reflect on the beliefs that we hold as a tradition and how these affect the world we live in, how they show up in how we love one another, or maybe sometimes fail to do so, and how we care for our land and how we relate to God. I'm also an LMU grad, and well, I love everything about LMU. And I'm just one of three professors in theological studies who are all LMU grads. Maybe you will be next. Let's start a tradition. But let me right now introduce you to one of my colleagues, Professor Eric Swanson.
Hi, I'm Eric Haruki Swanson. I recently finished my doctoral studies and just joined Loyola Marymount University in 2019. I focus on the religious traditions of Japan, especially Buddhism, and I look at the ancient and new ways we can understand this particular religious tradition. Among the new ways, I invite you to take my course, Animated Spirituality, the Religions of Japan in Anime, Manga, and Film.
Oh, Eric, I want to take that course. It sounds so fun. But this shows you, right, the kind of community that we have, because our theological studies department is really a community. It's made up of the faculty, but also of really dedicated staff, of our graduate students, and of course of our undergraduate students. And we all come together because we're really excited to learn from each other and to work things out together and to add to what the world has in knowledge, in goodness, in truth, in beauty. And when you are on our campus, you will find us up on the third floor of University Hall. I've kind of marked it here on our screen in what we call the Theology Village. It's a beautiful space and it's always full of our community's life.
Yes, part of the newness of coming to a university will be these new relationships you'll build. We consider you colleagues in the making, young people preparing to join us in doing the work that will help us heal our world. Students in our courses are invited to do the following: analyze questions of faith, the divine, the ultimate meaning in the context of religious thought and practice, and to appreciate both the intrinsic value of religious inquiry and the role of religion in building a more just world.
Yes, and I've been teaching long enough now that I actually get to see my students go into the world and become teachers, professors, lawyers, advocates, medical doctors, filmmakers, really great journalists, religious leaders, of course, clergy, women religious, musicians, actors, community organizers. I mean, theological studies really does prepare you to do very vital and important work in the world.
Yes. And one of the aspects of our department that we take a lot of pride in is that we are teacher scholars. We have a very large department with very many different areas represented, which allows us to offer a great variety of intriguing courses that together comprise the dynamic nature of the Theological Studies department at LMU. How about we introduce you to just a few of our many faculty members and their areas of specialty?
Yes, well, when you look at our course offerings, one of the things that you will notice right away is that LMU is committed to helping you grow as a human person and to ask the deepest questions that human beings ask. And this is why every LMU student will take at least 2 courses with us in our department, because theological studies is really a unique way to meet the entire world and also a variety of different fields. So for instance, just right here on our screen, you will have Dr. Daniel Smith Christopher, who's going to tell you and work with you on ancient traditions that give form to what Christians today call the Old Testament. And he's also going to help you to reflect on how these call us to ethical living. Or you can study and even try out ancient practices of mysticism and learn how to be awake to all of reality with Professor Douglas Christie. Now, an important mark of our commitment to developing leaders that will transform the world is the group of distinguished theologians who explore and teach from the area of Latinx Catholic experience. And joining me in this area are Jesuit Father Alan Figueroa Deck, who is a very distinguished scholar in pastoral theology and Latino studies, and he's also an expert on Pope Francis, and Dr. Nancy Pineda Madrid, whose really wide-ranging work on the most important issues of our day include the concerns of women who are victims of violence. Dr. Swanson, you want to tell our friends about the breadth of religious traditions present in our department?
Sure. These courses offered by the professors here are always very popular. Joining me in this area of our work is Dr. Karen Enriquez, who works on interreligious dialogue between Buddhism and Christianity, an area that we call comparative theology, which allows us to truly engage with two of the world's greatest religions, not greatest, but great religions, in a constructive and dynamic way. She also works on Philippine American theology, another exciting area for LMU to explore in a region like Southern California. Another vibrant area for us to study is Islam. And we have one of the most foremost experts, Professor Amir Hussain, whose work focuses on contemporary Muslim societies in North America. You may have seen Dr. Hussain introducing us to the richness of Islamic traditions in any number of great documentaries. And he also teaches highly popular courses on religion and film. We are joined by Dr. Tracy Tiemeyer, a specialist in interreligious dialogue, whose work looks at the rich relationships possible in Hindu-Christian studies, and whose always innovative and intriguing courses include Pop Hinduism, Stranger and Monsters, and The Sacred, Sinister, and Strange. Finally, a fascinating set of courses are those that deal with the religions of South Asia. Again, our location in Southern California makes this a great place for the exploration, and we have particular richness in courses that, along with Buddhism, explore Hinduism, Sikhism, and Jainism, and the concerns of yoga and ecology with Professors Christopher Chappell and Christopher Miller. This is very important work that not only contributes our knowing each other and our beliefs more deeply, but healing our planet. But there's so much more that we offer to our students here at LMU.
Yes, let's talk about the historians in our department who give our students a chance to take deep dives into worlds that are very different from ours, and whose work reminds us of the sheer delight of investigating, respectfully approaching texts, and growing in our embrace of the richness of human cultures, thoughts, events. The periods of history we explore are varied and exciting. For instance, with Professor Anna Harrison, you will enter the captivating world of medieval thinkers and their challenging texts, especially the work of women. And with Professor Charlotte Radler, you'll take a fascinating journey into the history of Christianity or some of the great mystics of history, and you will also be able to dig into the roots of Catholic Christianity. They're joined by Professor Gil Klein, whose thought-provoking courses explore Rabbinic Judaism, the Talmud and Midrash, and also take students into adventures in architectural history and ancient Roman cities. Dr. Swanson, you want to take it from here?
Yes, we also have a deep commitment to ethical inquiry with three varied approaches. Dr. Roberto De Roro, an internationally renowned bioethicist, who helps students confront the issues of life and human flourishing as these relate to medical questions and fundamental human rights. And Professor Matthew Patrice, whose courses help students explore urgent issues in human rights, poverty, and political theory while building upon the best traditions of ethical thought. And Professor Jonathan Rothschild, whose work and courses explore issues of theological ethics in relation to the law, especially incarceration, restorative justice, and also science. What I think is very clear is that the theological studies requirements here at LMU are there to help us form engaged, knowledgeable, and passionate citizens of the world.
Indeed. And when we know that LMU's roots are in the Catholic tradition, then we know that we will also be trying to serve that tradition by forming leaders, because we need committed young people for Catholic tradition to thrive. And while many of us work in this area, we have eminently qualified specialists to prepare our students for leadership. Dr. Kim Harris is an acclaimed musician who has toured internationally and whose music and academic work looks at how African American and African religious practices have developed and the issues of slavery and freedom as explored in the music of Black spirituals. You never want to miss an event where Dr. Harris is leading us in song. Professor Michael Horan is a renowned expert in pastoral practices and religious education, and he has formed and nurtured many of the leaders who after graduation are now scattered around the world, helping to teach and support, minister to, and accompany communities of faith. Another young scholar with us is Dr. Leila Karst, who teaches our students about the contemporary issues in Catholic communities, especially issues of women, while she's also a specialist in rituals and in liturgy and how the Catholic imagination expresses itself in these beautiful practices. And then we have Dr. Brett Hoover, who is one of the leading experts in the areas of practical theology. And his work explores the astounding diversity in the church and the ways we best work and live as communities. While also he looks at the roots of conflicts and suggests possible ways forward, for instance, in his very popular course on migration and the border.
Well, I hope you found this brief introduction to who we are helpful. This fast look only included some of our professors because it will take us a long time to introduce you to everyone. Let's just say that when we have a party, it's a big party. So exploring all of our great teacher scholars on the LMU website, because we have a lot to offer you as an incoming student. As I told you, I recently joined the department, but Dr. Cecilia has a long history with LMU. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, so this is gonna be a fast look, but I think it's important if you're gonna be at home with us to know who we are. So really the university that now is LMU began its history in 1865 with a different name, a whole different group of people, and we've actually had a few different names throughout history. And for a long time, we were a men's university. And the Loyola lion that you see here even became a cartoon character thanks to Walt Disney. But in the late 1960s, we started sharing life with Marymount College's students. And they were all women. And so in 1973, we officially merged and became a whole new LMU now, rather than just Loyola University, and a co-ed school. So you can understand then what a key role our department plays in a university that was refounded as LMU by the Marymount Sisters, the Sisters of St. Joseph, and the Jesuits. And all of them share a clear vision of learning, transformation, unity, and service. But even though we're rooted in the Catholic tradition, or maybe because of it, we are very committed to studying and celebrating religious diversity and to finding beauty and uniqueness and indifference. So even though we have grown a lot in more than a century, we are still a family that celebrates differences.
Yes, and we are so excited to welcome you to your new home, LMU. As you can probably tell by this brief history, the area of theological studies is central to the life of our university, which is why, whether you're a theology major or any other major on our campus, we, the Theological Studies faculty, will have the pleasure of meeting you and getting to know you.
Yes, because like many other great historical institutions of higher learning, we want our students to have the shared experience of core courses. And these are central to helping you become who you're meant to be. So when you take core courses, you're going to study with us. So let's get into some of the details.
During your 4 years at LMU, you'll be studying in the core curriculum. As you can see here, the core curriculum is designed to address different themes and to grow in complexity throughout your university experience, starting with foundations in years 1 and 2, explorations in years 2 and 3, and integrations in years 3 and 4. theological studies are a central part of the core. And in addition to the two areas of theological inquiry and faith and reason, marked here with the blue arrows, you might also encounter us in first-year seminar, historical analysis and perspectives, and ethics and justice. Here you see a very short list of some of examples from the core courses that we offer. We hope that you will take full advantage of these courses to critically engage in religious inquiry and to consider the role that a religious imagination can play in building a more just future for our planet. In fact, as you take these courses, you might find that you'll be so interested that you'll want to pursue a theological studies minor.
Yes, I've had many students take a core course and then apply for the minor. The theological studies minor complements many other fields of study and allows you to explore fundamental questions in more depth, to train in writing and argumentation, and to join a community of students that is intellectually inquisitive and committed to becoming transformative leaders. So you will already be part of the way to a minor just with your core classes, and will only need 3 more courses. One of the privileges of being a minor is to be admitted into intensive seminars that are exclusive to our majors and minors, and that take on challenging and intriguing questions in a uniquely collaborative way among students and the professor. But you may find theological studies so intriguing and vital, like we do, that you'll want to go for the gold and become a major.
Yes, that is certainly the gold standard, and we have many of our alumni who are majors doing exciting work all around the world. The theology major is made up of 10 courses, and through these, we also want our students to engage the world beyond the university. Many of our courses are intertwined with the city, including study abroad or other exciting adventures. We likewise encourage our students to develop proficiency in another language, and the theology major is often beautifully paired up with a language as a double major. As you already heard, there are exclusive courses and induction into the National Theological Studies Honor Society, and other opportunities are ways to celebrate our majors. One extra perk is that you'll be able to work and be published in our own student journal.
Yes, our journal was actually born out of one of our majors minor seminar, and actually the one in this picture here on the screen. They produced the very first issue, and it continues to be produced and edited as a partnership between undergrad and graduate students, and the very best writers compete to be able to be published in the journal. I'm always really excited to see the reports that I get about the journal, and the journal is called Say Something Theological because it is being read all over the world. That's the beauty of being online. It is actually the most widely read student journal at LMU. And I invite you to go to the URL on the screen to take a look at the issues we have produced so far. Imagine what it'll feel like to be able to publish your very first work in Say Something Theological.
Well, that's all from us here at LMU. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are also hoping your parents or siblings may be with you, and we thank them for supporting you until this point on your journey. We look forward to a good partnership as you join us at LMU. If you want more information, we are very happy to answer your questions. Please contact Dr. Matthew Petrisik or Dr. Amir Hussein at the addresses on the screen. Or just go to our website. It's pretty easy to find us. Be well, and we look forward to meeting you soon.